exciting episode of the Sport Chat, and it's not different today because we're sitting with a soccer player who's done a phenomenal job in the in the football industry. He's played for London Pirates, has played for Bidvest, has played for Chippa United. You name them all, and it's. Thank you very much, Brighton, for gracing us with your presence, and also we appreciate your patience because wow,
what a way!
Because wow, yeah, but thank you very much for joining us.
Today was a strange morning. I woke up. In fact, it was yesterday night.
Okay.
I went to Instagram.
Okay.
And then I saw a post by Uziwa. So she's a radio host at Radio Panaj.
Okay.
So she's posting, which I'll be having Brighton Mhlongo tomorrow from 10 to 11.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, will Brighton make it on time for us? Because we had confirmed 12.
Yeah.
So I call her this morning.
Yeah.
She's like, no, these people mentioned that they will go to Tembisa after this interview. So like, I know. Let me relax. This morning, I sent Brighton a wrong location. I sent him a location that says we are at California.
Okay.
But I guess maybe in future we'll go to California.
Yeah, he's speaking it into existence.
Yeah. So I want us to kickstart the conversation with the Frenchies that we've seen BafanaBafana play. A better one against Guinea, but the second one against France. I mean, I think we did not show up. So in terms of the selection by coach Hugo Bruce, do you think the selection was right? Because we're having players like Abu Tembazwane, we're having players like Andy Lechali, regulars at Mamelodi Sundowns. They are playing in the highest competitions, the CAF Champions League, but they are not getting selected. And you see that game, the youngsters really, there's no balance in the squad for me, and I'm wondering, as a Brighton, as a player who has played before, what do you feel about the selection of Coach Hugo Bruce?
Yeah, look, first and foremost, thank you guys for having me, and truly grateful and honored for inviting here.
Thank you.
Yes, we're speaking into existence.
Yeah.
You're gonna get there. So having said that, I mean, it's funny how we joke about things, and then when we talk about them and say, hey, California, this and that. You guys, you're doing a wonderful job, and we all have somewhere to start. And big ups to you guys. And all I'm gonna say to you guys is that always trust the process. And within that process, you'll be faced with challenges like the ones we faced this morning and whatnot. But as long as you stay true to trusting the process, to yourself, and to the vision, as long as it's aligned as well, you will get there eventually. So big ups to you.
Thank you so much.
Going back to your question, and on the same breath, talking about the vision, talking about trusting the process, I believe that probably one of Hugo Bruce's ideology and philosophies was that he has done it before, where he got to Cameroon, where he managed to build a team out of relatively unknown players, and he went on to win the AFCON with that. So he's probably looking at it in that same scenario. Obviously, South Africa, it's very blessed with abundance of talent, you know, and obviously you look at it in a sense that probably he's not aware of that, and he's coming with his philosophy. So I believe, look, at first when he took charge, the mandate was to say, build a team. And then we never gave the boys a chance when he came in and changed the whole squad. And then, you know, a whole lot of omissions in that squad. It's always the case in every organization. If there's a structure that has been put in place, you get to a point whereby there will be omissions that will be questionable, and obviously there will be selections that will be questionable as well. So we always have to, obviously for us, we look at it on a spectator perspective and say, yeah, but so-and-so is doing well, but we don't know the criteria, selection criteria of the coach, what he's looking at. And according to how I see it, I'm also talking on a neutral perspective here to say, probably he's going with the saying that he wants to build a solid team from the young and upcoming guys, so that there's continuity, there's consistency, because that's what we've lacked throughout all the years in South African football, where we got to a point where we said, road to 2022, a couple of years back. We're in 2022, and when you look at that period from when it was established that Stuart Baxter is going to be taking us through the whole road to 2022, building a team to this far. Excuse me. So we get to a point whereby how many chopping and changes have we done?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And we've done a whole lot of things which we seem to perceive as the trial and tested and failed. So they say. But for me, I wouldn't say it's a failed process because we managed to qualify for AFCON. We managed to qualify and we did well. Yes, South Africa is a footballing nation. According to our standards, if we say we're one of the best in Africa, we have one of the best leagues as well. We need to be up there. Each and every tournament we need to qualify. We need to compete for top honors as well. So when he came in, there was no mandate with regards to that. And then the guys did well. They kind of, overdid themselves because we got there and we nearly qualified with the whole Ghana debacle and everything, right? So then that's when subsequently the mindset changed, of which I believe that for us, we need to stay, focused to the vision. We had said we are building. So if we're building, let's trust the process. We didn't qualify, don't subsequently change and say, we should have. Whereas that was not the mandate. Even right now, we're saying we had a good friend against Guinea, of which by far, by our standards, we're supposed to win games like that, to be one of the best. And I remember saying this to one of the interviews I once conducted prior to AFCON. First game of the AFCON against Zimbabwe, I profiled that game, and if memory serves me well, we registered only 3 attempts on goal away when we played Zimbabwe, and we're saying we need to be up there. I don't think it was good enough, yet we were saying it was good enough. Throughout the qualifiers, we didn't play well. There was no team cohesion, there was no personality in the team, and I always knew that this was going to count against us throughout. And when we went to Ghana that game, Ghana were all over us, and at that time, Ghana, they were in shambles. Ghana are in shambles right now, but because they believe in the process, they trust in their players, they stay true to their identity and the DNA of their tradition within the footballing nation, So those are the things the elements that we need to incorporate again. We kind of diverted away from the DNA of the team, the culture and the tradition of the team, and which happens also with our local teams now. That's why Sundowns will remain successful and dominate, because they found their DNA, and you can look at it from the days of Niltovi to Kevin Johnson to Miguel Gamondi, Angel Kapa, Risto, Stoichkov. I mean, the list is endless. The team and the coaches changed, but the DNA and the culture of the team never changed.
Philosophy.
I mean, well, when we put it in a philosophical aspect, sometimes people don't wanna include the culture, or the science side of it, the tactics and whatnot. No, let's put away tactics and whatnot. Let's stick to the traditional way of doing things and say the tradition and the culture of the team. So once that is instilled within the team, it's very rare to break away from that. And everything that happens, it always somehow, it shows when you feel like, no man. Typical example, Italy and Juventus, same formation. The tradition has always been 3-5-2. That's how they conquer. Or 3 at the back, but they make sure that at the top they have numbers as well, right? So you look at coaches like Antonio Conte. Wherever he goes, Antonio Conte will tell you straight that I need to look at the project and see if it's aligned with my vision and with my culture. And then I can take up the job. If not, I don't care if it's Real Madrid or Man U or all these biggest teams. So when we profile coaches here in South Africa, we kind of put away our best interests at heart and try to suit the style of that person, of which it's supposed to be the other way around. Whoever that comes in, same as with the players, selection criteria or signing recruitments, scouting policies, it has to be, as this player is, we're not going to be a good fit for my team. What is he bringing in? So that's what Sundowns has mastered. Sundowns has done it so well to a point that every player that they acquire, he fits in right away. He's a hit, And when we divert from that, it's kind of difficult because now we get to a point where a certain result can kind of crush everything that you've worked hard for, or what you're trying to build. And then when I say trusting the process, we're going to lose games.
Yeah.
We're not going to play well. But do we say then it's not working? Or do we stick to it? Germany, the team that won the World Cup in Brazil, half of the team, the core of the team, they played together from under 16. We had that crop of team that played Dano Nations Cup, won the tournament in France. We had the team that went to the under 17, did well. We had the team that went to the World Cup under 20. They did well. And that team, Shakes Mashaba, came up with it because he had already had the experience whereby he went with the Sydney Olympic team, 2000, I think it's in 2000, when they beat Brazil, the Benni MacCarthy's, those guys, when they graduated to the senior level, they already had, you know, that team cohesion because they played together. They understand each other and they understand what's at stake. They understand the culture of being a South African footballer. You know, so therefore, when these guys got to that phase, it got to a point whereby Coach Shakes, time and again, whenever he's been called back into the national team, either he qualifies for a certain tournament or he does well because he already knows, I need to call up this one. I need this one who understands my philosophy and the culture of the team. So right now, coming back to your question, yes, there's so many questionable omissions. We're trying to understand what he's trying to do and how is he building his team around and in what sense, you know, because if you're having players at Sundowns who are dominating in Africa, dominating locally, part of it says they've done it wrong. And we're talking players who were in the national setup at a young age. They've gone through the right phases, development, they've played in the highest level. They went as far as playing the Club World Cup. So they've played in the continent, they've dominated. It brings the personality in the team. I think the main important thing is that, for example, when you saw the team sheet of France, before we could play, you already saw personality. That instills fear, which that fear showed on the field of play. Players were starstruck, they still had that thing, against Paul Pogba. So we can't shy away from that. We shouldn't shy away from team personality. You cannot find a Real Madrid where when you get to Real Madrid, you still ask yourself, who's that? It's highly probable to happen. You find a player who's playing for Real Madrid, he has earned his stripes, he doesn't need to introduce himself. Instead, they instill fear in opposition. That's what we call team personality. So if your team has personality, then you can incorporate that with the young guns that are coming up, you know, all these young stars that are coming up. But you cannot just all of a sudden throw them in all at once without any proper guidance, if you get what I mean. The spine has to be solid in a sense that it has to have experience. And when I say experience, I don't want to sound otherwise to say, yeah, but where do people get experience? By playing, right? We need to expose them, but give them the right tools. Gradually so, give them the right tools, give them the proper exposure, because such exposure where you throw them in the deep end, it's always a case of either you swim or you drown. And you drowning, your comeback is always difficult. It can end your career. You know? So in this sense, we need to be mindful how we strike a balance. So for me, the advice would say to the coach, try and strike a balance and give players what's due to them by merit. Selection needs to be by merit. You know, yes, I get, for instance, a situation where with Bruce, he got selected, right? Bruce is one for the future. Great goalkeeper, amazing guy, I love him. However, I would say, coach, are we doing enough into profiling goalkeepers that are playing NFD, that are doing well, or who's playing regularly within the PSL as a goalkeeper? Then, if we don't have any players or goalkeepers that are playing regularly, then it means the problem is within the system. To say, you go to Europe, when you sign a player in Europe, first and foremost, they'll tell you, there's this player, local player, and there's a foreign guy coming in, first preference will always be a local player. They don't care age, experience and whatnot. This local guy. So if we've identified a crisis and say, we don't have goalkeepers, there's so many goalkeepers in South Africa, you know, who are doing well. I believe that, okay, are we doing enough in terms of profiling those keepers? Are we doing enough in terms of giving them exposure and preparing them for that stage? Right? So certain omissions, I would say, very questionable. Very questionable. We have experienced guys like Andy Lejali. Yes, he's my friend and everything, but he knows when he plays nonsense, I tell him straight.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. So funny enough, a couple of months back when he scooped the Player of the Month, he posted that. And for a player of Andile's caliber, I went to his WhatsApp status, was like, you shouldn't even be posting that, you know? And then he says, hey, seems like people have forgotten. I said, no, you've been doing well throughout. Worry about you, and then everything will fall into place. And that's what he's doing now. He's just worrying about his game. And you can see now we're getting the best of Andy, and he's been doing throughout. We're getting the best of it. So I just believe that sometimes that element of, you know, giving them flowers while they're still alive, it's gone. Giving praise where it's due, it's gone. Temba's one has been consistent ever since he broke into the QSL. There's no reason for me to say, why is he not selected? We can try and look for anything, irrespective of age. Here in South Africa, you are from the age of 18 to 25 or 26, you're still a youngster. He lacks experience, lacks this and that. You go above that, he's old. Now we're looking, so what are we saying? What are we saying? You know, if there's players like Gigi Buffon still playing, if there's players like Ibrahimovic who still gets selected to his national team irrespective of age, what are we saying? And when we select those kind of players, the experienced players, they get to introduce these young boys into the system the right way, you know, so that they can pass on the baton. Once it's done, then it becomes easier. That's what used to happen with us at Pirates. When you got there, you had all the senior players who were there give you the right tools to say, look, keep working hard. Right now, you're not ready. They'll tell you straight, and your stripes. Munib Joseph told me stories like, boy, I'm still the #1 here. Don't even think about it to say you're here to compete. No, you're not here to compete, you're here to learn. Learn, and your stripes, and when the right time comes, you'll be very much well equipped with the right tools to say, work ethic is brilliant. You're all about the team, the support structure. You know, you get to learn all the life skills around those guys, so that when the baton is passed on to you, you also apply the same mindset to the upcoming youngsters. So it's a continuity, you know, there's consistency and continuity. But now with us, we start this process, stop. No, we need to change it. This and that is wrong. And when we say we change, we do a wholesome overhaul where we just throw everything out of the system, you know, and we can't do that. The guys who played the AFCON with Stuart Baxter, the core of the team, brilliant players. Why don't we keep that? Keep reintroducing, and one or two, if you feel like they don't deserve to be there, drop them. When you drop, introduce this player, so that Nailo or Lagle system knows what I don't own a place. I need to work hard to come back. Most players, I love the approach that Hugo Bruce came with. I love it. Don't get me wrong. However, with those few friendlies and the COSAFAs and the qualifiers, it has already given so many players out there who were in the national team a wake-up call. That's why you saw the Yohlantis coming back and whatnot. So you do that just to give them that wake-up call to say, hey, to be in my team, you need to work hard. Because so-and-so is going to take your place. Because there's a Mashiko who's going to take your place on a left back. There's a Mabili, so, you know, so forth. Then when this player comes back, he already knows the culture of the team. All he needs to do is to change his mindset and the work ethic. That's all you need. And then you keep reintroducing them. They come back, up until you have a solid 70 players in pool where you don't have to stress. If Kuni is injured, you know there's Ronald, there's so-and-so. When this and that is injured, you know. But now, I mean, we were talking about striker crisis. From where is this thing? Because we have your Tshego Mabasa who's doing well. We have Victor Letswalo with 11 goals. He was initially dropped from the initial squad that went on top. Then and then he got called up after he injured pace. So are we saying this player is a local base? He's leading goal scorer locally as our local striker, meaning he's our best striker. Whether you have a Pesita or you have whoever, he needs to be there in the team. Whether you're going to play him or not, it's up to you. You get my point. So those are the things, those are the dynamics that I think we should, based on that.
Recently we saw the draw of the World Cup. And, 5 teams will be representing us in Western Africa. And I think we should say congratulations to them. Ghana, Senegal, Morocco, which else?
Also Ghana, Cameroon as well.
Cameroon, So those are the 5 teams that will be representing us obviously in Africa. And we scored 5 goals by France. So it was really disappointing, that game. But moving on, man, what can be a way forward in terms of us? You mentioned that Mamelodi Sundowns will probably set a bar in terms of the league, the standard. We have Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, which are also the biggest teams in Africa, and we see that they are not really competing or matching the standard of Mamelodi Sundowns. What can be the solution to that?
I believe that one thing that we do as South Africans, we envy at the neighbor to say, however, what are we doing about it is very much important. It's no shame to not get to Makela and say, I saw you doing great, you do 1, 2, 3. What can be done? What can I do to get to that? Even if you don't knock per se, but you copy, you adapt, you look at the mentality, the good that they do, and say, I can implement this. So we've seen, and it's no secret that Sundowns have invested in their own with regards to technical team and so forth. That's the starting point. Then you say, okay, so these guys clearly, they understand the mentality of South African players, the culture of the team, the culture of South African football as well. How do they then incorporate that with their European counterparts, European mentality? Because we know with Sundowns, they model their game with Netherlands football. They do a whole lot of research between the Dutch and the German football. That's what they do. And then a bit of Spanish flair. That's what they do. So now, they're not saying they're going to get someone from there and bring them here. They send their very own to go study. And then come back well equipped with the information and incorporate that with the culture of the team. I can go to Europe, come back, but at the end of the day, or bring a European coach, but at the end of the day, the dynamics are not the same, development-wise. Tactically, South African football or African players, it's only the North African countries which, because they're not far off from Europe, which are easy to adapt to the style of play, and have that tactical acumen. So you then say, okay, what's the biggest downfall of South African players? We're more about flair, right? But tactically, we're not that good. Technically, we are good. How do we polish that? Because most players, they don't know the difference between the technical aspect and the tactical aspect. So when we mention technique, we thinking, oh, you need to bend it like Beckham. No. Your dribbling is a technical ability. How do we polish that? I know you're not going to kick the ball with laces. You were not taught that from a young age. How do I then take that, put it aside, and incorporate actually and just enhance the technical ability that you have, which is dribbling? How do I do that? So at Sundowns, they're good at that. With Sundowns, they give each and every player the tools to say, your strength, the midfield, kick everything that you see. That's what you know best. When you get the ball, give it to your Tempazwanes. The players who have magic, with the dribbling abilities, the creative in them, all those kind of things. So with us, in short essence, we get a player like Mtobi Vala at a different setup,
Yeah.
we want to change him completely. We want to say to him, model your game to a Ngolo Kante.
Yeah.
Kante, he was like a Mtobi Vala, he was good in interceptions and whatnot. His game has changed now.
Yeah.
He's getting high up the pitch, he's getting goals, he's a box-to-box player, but now his creative acumen is amazing.
Yeah.
So we want to change our players to say, you need to look at this, you need to be like this. Whereas with Sundowns, they say, we take this player, we know how we're going to use him.
Yeah.
You'll see subs sometimes, Brighton Mhlongo comes in late,
Yeah.
you're thinking, they're packing the pass. No,
Yeah.
it's because now the game has gone into aerial. They need that aerial strength.
Yeah.
But as soon as he wins the ball, his job is to pass, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know? So those are the things we need to understand. So other teams, they look at Sundowns, they envy. Sundowns is doing well. It's because of the money.
Yeah.
Can we pause for a moment? Let's forget about the financial implications. What are they doing right? Development structure.
Yeah.
Every player that comes from Sundowns, from the development now, he fits in well.
Yeah.
Because the same philosophy that they've instilled in the senior team, they're also using it with the junior level.
What you say is what the former coach of Kaizer Chiefs was talking about. I'm sure it took
Yeah.
to say that let's forget about money. Sundowns, let's focus on what they're doing right.
Exactly.
Their coaches, they're getting equipped, they learn,
Exactly.
they get the knowledge,
Yes.
and that works for the team.
Exactly.
And as an opposition, you see, we took K5, we are not really doing well.
Yeah.
What can we learn from these
Exactly.
people?
Where
so
can
that
we
we can,
improve? Yeah.
because now our league is becoming a one league
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like
well,
it's
I mean, credit to Pirates.
Yeah.
They went to saying, let's give our own a chance.
Yes.
So now they're trying that.
Yeah.
They're doing well on a continental.
Yeah.
Domestically, they're doing okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say they're doing okay because, sorry, when Mandla came in, he had a huge task
Yeah.
where players were low on confidence. They didn't know the culture of the team. They didn't know the philosophy, the pressures of playing for that team as a whole. Some players are not used to that, you know. Now they had to start again just to, instill confidence, certain aspects in the game, game management style and so forth. So I say let's trust the process.
Yeah.
You've identified what's the issue.
Yeah.
Once you've identified the issue, work on rectifying that issue, And by so doing, yes, you're still gonna fail. It doesn't mean the route that you took is wrong.
Yeah.
You just have to come back again and say, okay, this one it's not working. How about we slightly divert from this and try and implement this? But still within the vision, still being aligned to say our goal and product, we want to dominate, we want to be on top. So it's not going to happen overnight, because even with Sundowns, with Pito, there were times where Pito, he was ducking all the vuvuzelas, they wanted Pito to go and whatnot. Look at him now.
Yeah.
You get my point? So it didn't just happen where overnight Pito was. He sat down and said, okay, gradually, now I need to instill this, now I need to do this and that. Now, Gavin went from Cape Town Spurs, Hellenic, and then he was not winning anything. Black Leopards won promotion, started winning coach of the season. Got to Swallows, he won his major trophy with Swallows. From Swallows, got to Supersport, won titles 3 times. When he left, when he went to Wits, it didn't work out when he first got there. But Wits didn't say, no, we're going to get rid of him. He went position 4, 3, 3, 2, and then 1. And then he nearly got relegated. They could have got rid of him. So they said, no, let's fix it. We still trust in you, you've done this. So it's just a matter of continuity, trusting the process, and having the same belief that you would have, as like with Pirates, the same belief that you show at your purpose before he scored. He struggled when he got here. Gave him enough time. They say the patience, we need to believe in him, he's going to give us something. What about the same players, local-based players? There's a Radio Ban who's doing well at the MTC. Why don't we give him the same confidence? There's a Tifo Maras who's a brilliant striker. There's a Zakele. The players that have, good ability to be great strikers. Yes, if they're injury-free. but are we giving them the same process? I believe that as South Africans, we're too quick to lose patience on our own. Yet, it's double standards in a way. Yet, with someone else who's coming from abroad, we're too quick to, to feel, you know, otherwise and say, no, maybe he needs to settle in. Maybe it's a different climate for him, this and that. Let's not make excuses.
And it's like you say the same thing with Oupa Manyisa. We did not like appreciate him well for South Africa, but now when he's out of South Africa, it's where now we want to appreciate him well. It's not here anymore. You understand?
It's the same with life.
Exactly.
People they appreciate you when you're gone.
Exactly.
Why? Why don't we give them flowers while we still have them? Why don't we nurture them, protect them, and say, I see talent here?
True.
The same thing that said, let me sign this player. How did he then become a bad player overnight? How did Tyson Hlatshwayo become the worst defender overnight when he was our national team asset? He's done so well throughout. You know, so those are the things that we need to look at. I believe that that's where the system needs to now be very honest themselves to say, are we doing enough to equip these players? Are we doing enough to mold them? Are we doing enough to give them the right tools to say, guys, here's the platform. We're giving you a chance. You will grow eventually. You'll make mistakes eventually, you know? So I think we suddenly went back to being result driven, but we don't know how to get those results.
Exactly.
You know, so we've gone back to that thing, which was a problem back then. We're results driven, but we don't know how to get them. And when we don't get them, we get frustrated, forgetting that we are the ones who put these measures in place. So be the man of your word. If you say this is going to work, stick by it, see it through. You need to have a short-term goal for a long-term goal. So with us South Africans, we have long-term goals, but we don't have short-term goals to say, how do I get to this bar? So I want to jump from where I am to say, my goal is there, I'm going there. But I'm not putting any measures to say, okay, 1 week, I need to at least achieve this. I need to get to this. By next season, I need to make sure. For instance, Pirates, past 4 seasons, they were amazing. It was unfortunate how they didn't win the league. You know? But then, from Micho, when Micho came back, the team was buzzing, it was fine. And then they were, you know, they were pushing Sundowns. Then the next season, you want to change the squad. How? Because by so doing, you're breaking now that momentum to say, yes, we lost it at the end, boys. I love how Peter used to say, there was a time when Baxter won the league. Peter, his interviewer said, he said, I know where I lost it. And the boys know where they lost it. We'll go and get it. And he went on to get it. So we need to adopt that mentality to say, I know where I went wrong. Boys, we came short. But all is not lost. We can see where we're going. Let's double the effort and make sure that we don't take that short left that we took. If I didn't go that extra mile, if I was cutting corners at training, now I know that I need to put more. But I still have that belief that I know where I went wrong as a group. Any addition that we make, we bring someone who we're going to say, okay, while you were cutting corners or when you were getting fatigued, this is the player who's going to come in. You know, but it's still the same model game, it's still the same attitude, same mentality, but we're introducing this one to say, look, you get here, you need to see how these things are done here, and we'll gradually introduce you where we need you the most. You know, so those are the things I think we should just improve on.
And I wanted to ask, man, we saw a situation when Mamelodi Sundowns was playing in Ahli, the second league game, where Kaizer Chiefs hosted and Coach Marumo didn't like that. I just wanted to get your reaction to say, was it wrong for Kaizer Chiefs to host El Ahly? Obviously, we know when our teams go outside, probably they get intimidated. Players are not passing, they give them a poor pitch to train in. Was it a right decision? Was it a fair decision for Kaizer Chiefs to host El Ahly, knowing very well how we get treated outside? How's your reaction to that?
It's a bitter pill. I want to put it in a way that it doesn't sound otherwise. They had their own reasons, Kaizer Chiefs, in a sense of probably extending the olive branch to say we're building relationships with a it normally happened. I mean, I remember when I was playing Pirates, what would happen is we'd always complain to management to say, these guys, when we're there, they treat us like this and that. Whereas Tina, when they come here, we put them a cent in, they have free Wi-Fi, we have to buy for our Wi-Fi and whatnot. At the end of the day, it's within us, South Africans. We're over-welcoming, we have that spirit of Ubuntu and whatnot. We cannot take that away, you know? So, how we overdo it, sometimes it's still debatable. Hence I'm saying Chiefs had their own reasons. And for Coach Mhlongo as well, he needs to understand that no one is going to be happy and be clapping for you while you're getting bigger, you're getting successful, and they're still there. They want to get there, you understand? At the end of the day, in a sporting world, it's a competition. And why would I make it easy for you to succeed when I know that I want to be on par with you? So he needs to look at it in a sense that it was just mainly a sporting decision to say, we're going to make it hard for them not to get the star, because we want the second star, because we also want a star, you know. So it's two ways. For him, he was probably complaining about it in a sense of the spirit of Ubuntu. Why would you favor other from outside, whereas your fellow South African? Of which that's what these teams do, by the way. When you're that side, it's only the rivals who are going to give you lentos. That's what they do. You get that side, Al-Ahly, if you're playing Al-Ahly, Zamalek will host you better, you know? Will host you better and say, no, we'll offer you a training field, this and that. It happens everywhere in football, you know? It's just that in the case of Coach Mhlongo was frustrated that the spirit of Ubuntu as a nation, I would have wanted you to stand by my side. But I can't do that if we're in the same competition. I want to be with you there. So there's never a case where we say we are level and we say, okay, how do we bounce ideas? How do we make this happen? We always want to be above someone. So once we start eradicating such, then there'll be that thing where maybe we understand each other. And the humility side of things will come in to say, okay, how did you do this? I'll be able to share ideas. Yes, we're saying teams, they envy Sundowns, but they're not learning what they're doing. The Sundowns willing to share their success story? No, they won't do that. You get my point? So it's just, some of the things is just a sporting decision to say, much as I'm dominating, I want to be there. And much as you're dominating, I'll do by all means to get to where you are. It's a competition at the end of the day. And within competition, a whole lot of things they're going to get thrown in, you know. I'll cater Al-Ahly anytime, any given day, you know, I'll cater. Because I want to build relationships with them. I want to get to understand to say, okay, someone's not giving me this. Maybe Al-Ahly can give me ideas as to how to become successful, because they're a successful team. Hence I say, Chiefs had their reasons, and Coach Mhlongo as well had his reasons to obviously say Chiefs was wrong doing this and that. And in a football world, there's this thing that says 1 + 1 is never 2 in football. There's no right answer in football. There's no wrong, there's no right answer. It's always a case of saying, how can I do it better? My way I thought was better. Your way you think is better? Okay, let's see which one works. You know, so it's just a two-way thing.
And just to dive that a bit, just you've been mentioning a lot about how, you know, adapting to culture and understanding the culture of the team. And it's often an argument that when it comes to the national team, a lot of, you know, players, I think they come with that, it's like an ego that I'm big at Sundowns. Now I'm not being chosen, you know, when it comes to being, you know, playing for the national team, when it comes to playing, that I'm on the bench, but I'm big at Sundowns. It's often an argument that it comes with ego. They don't, like, it's not about, when it comes to the national team, there's no, what do you call this, like working together. It's all about, it's like individuals, not coming together as a team. Would you agree with that?
I disagree. Honestly speaking, I've been in that setup from junior level to BafanaBafana. There's never that. You get a player like Tulani Serrero. He was doing wonders in Holland, week in, week out. He gets to Bafana, he gets benched. And he's still okay. You know, so I think the most difficult part is when you politicize football. Once you start politicizing football, it's going to be difficult, because we take what's been said by journalists,
Yeah.
right? And we put it out there like now. They're saying Percy doesn't want to play for Hugo Bruce.
Yeah.
He's injured, guys.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe the decision was taken by law. The player has to fly in, report for camp, be assessed by the doctors, then they make the decision.
Yeah.
Maybe there was some communication to say there's no need for you to fly down. And with the COVID thing, we don't know.
Yeah.
But
when it's,
Brighton, do you feel that the current crop that we have, the current crop of players, like when they take to the field, do you feel like they're playing for the bench like the old guys' days of Dr. Kumalo? Because I feel like sometimes we just go in the field and just like, let's just play. Because that's the energy I'm getting.
Yeah.
You know,
I love it. I love it. I love how you guys, that's why I'm here. Right? You guys, you're seeing it from a fan perspective.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing about football. No one goes into a field of play and say, I want to lose this game. No one. Apart from, you know, all these crazy stories you always hear with Hebam Tengilanai. But here in South Africa, I'm very passionate about the game because that's our livelihood. It goes along with pride. Yes, the 5-0 that we got from Thingy, it had the guys so much. On a personal level, I spoke to a few guys. Some of the things will happen, right? That's where experience comes in. Like I hear they're getting bashed because of the pictures and whatnot. Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get to do things.
I don't even understand that one.
Yeah. I mean, mind you,
Yeah.
the assistant coach was the first one to do that.
Eventually, yeah.
Ken was the first one to do it. He just went to grab Popeye, he gave Velimo to the phone. Picture. You know? And we're talking, your question was based on the group Yakdal. And Kelele was a successful player within that crop, right? So, certain things, we're not going to question his leadership skills. We're not going to question. It's just a spur of the moment that, okay, it's a friendly game, but I can't take away the fact that I'm with Paul Pogba.
Exactly.
Mind you,
the excitement.
our players, BafanaBafana lost that thing where, when was the last time we played an international friendly abroad with a big footballing nation? You know? Pet stadium, all those kind of things, they come into play. So it's a case of saying, I'll make an example with a child. If a child at home, he knows that every Friday I'm going to McDonald's, he won't get that excited as opposed to a child who's not used to it. You get my point? So a child who's used to being at McDonald's, it's not going to be, oh McFlurry, oh this. You get my point? So we need to now go back to the way of things where we say we need to give our players the right tools to understand that these are levels in football. You're playing in the PSL, you are the crop of the nation of the cream. So therefore, ultimately, we're the best player. Irrespective of what? Irrespective of who you play for in South Africa. You get selected to a national team, you are the best player. I don't care who says what. That's the ultimate, what all we are aspiring to do, right? So when you are there, you are the best player in South Africa. That's it. Now, you are the best player in South Africa, you need to aspire to say, I need to be the best in the continent, and I need to go abroad. And then when you get to that level, you have that thing that says, I'm ultimately the best. So I need to behave like the best, I need to play like the best. You understand? Consistency has to be there. So, Tina, we're jumping this phase and we put people there. And when we put them there, we didn't give them the tools to behave in a certain way, to perform in a certain level. You know, ideally for me, this should be a learning curve, this game, and say, okay, we still want a French against France for what they did, right? But now, let's start gradually now. We need to dominate the powerhouses here in Africa. Time and again, FIFA break, get a French against Egypt, get a French against Senegal, get a French against Cameroon. You know, learn how do they qualify consistently to these big tournaments. And then, time and again, you throw in Europe. But the lightweights, you know, just to get used to playing under those circumstances, because we're taking local-based players, they go play Euro. When you get there, it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
Flint that at the age of 15 when we went to play Night Cup in England. You get there, the pitch is different. Movement of the ball, the water, their pitch. Like South Africa, you don't want to play Mhlongo.
Yeah.
There, they make sure, raining or hot, sunny day, the pitch is wet. You're not used to that. So let's equip our players to say, you are working towards ultimate Euro. Welcome. We shouldn't run away from the fact that this is what we want. But how do I then equip you? So I need time and again get you exposed to that kind of lifestyle, get you exposed to those kind of games, get you exposed to the level of professionalism to say, after a loss, I don't care who you play, you'll do all these pictures or all these things in the dressing room or in the tunnel after a loss. That's it. You get my point? So those are the things that we need to put them in measures. So I often heard former players now bashing these guys and saying, but to be quite honest, they didn't go into that game saying they want to lose.
Yeah.
They played against a very experienced team, as opposed to us. Whole lot of personality, you know. They should take lessons from that. And obviously, what happened after the game? What happened after the game should be a lesson as well to them to say, you shouldn't be starstruck. You shouldn't throw the level of pride in yourself to say, to say, we are South Africa, one of the best teams. So I'm not going to degrade myself in a sense of going down and bowing down to any man. Those are the things. Dressing room behind closed doors, yes, it's allowed. Mind you, we'd go into dressing room alali Abu Trika, we were fighting for his t-shirt, you know. But on the field, it was that thing of we lost. I remember those pictures. They'll show us still pants. We don't care who's what and whatnot. So because we were exposed to that, and we knew that we've played at the highest level. If you play a Soweto derby, that's the highest level, most watched derby in the whole world. What do you want? You know, it makes you one of the best. You take that to your grave. It makes you one of the best. If the team has a star, it means my team is one of the best in Africa. History books guaranteed. If I'm playing for the national team, Bafana has won AFCON. It says I'm one of the best in Africa. Put that in mind. So those are the things that we need to now start educating our players, because we don't get the sense of fulfillment and the confidence and a sense of belonging, you know. And when you are not taught those things coming up, it's going to be difficult to handle them up there. You get my point? So we need to teach the guys to say, you are the best, you apply yourself as one of the best. That's it.
And I wanted to ask, man, we saw recently the sacking of Coach Benni MacCarthy. And a lot of people are saying the guy did well for Amazulu. Last season they even finished position 2, going to play in the Champions League. Like, why are we not really giving our coaches a chance? You know, doing well the previous season, now probably they might be struggling a bit, but the only decision, the final decision you can reach is, let me just sack this coach and go find another one. Obviously, the other one when he comes, will tell you about building.
That's what if you can recall earlier, what I was saying is that, when did you hear about Road 2022, Vision 2022?
Yo, they've been talking about it.
And we are in 2022. And we are saying now we are building again for, I don't know, wherever, 20 whatever, right? So my key element is that we put measures in place, but they are being placed in a shaky foundation where we don't have the trust and the belief and the confidence to say we're going to do this. When Benni came in, Amazulu were in shambles. Yes, they got good financial backing, but they were in shambles. He worked hard, and then they started believing. And then to say, no, if top 8, no, if top 4, 2, to win the league. It's the same thing with our national team. We said, build a team that will compete for future. If we can do well in the qualifiers, it's okay. How? Hey, we're seeing now a chance to qualify. We need to qualify. Hey, we need to win it. Put measures. Have a short-term goal that will push you towards your long-term goal. You know, Benni did well. And then Amazulu were put on the map. CAF, they did well.
Yeah.
You don't come out of a group like that and you pull, I mean, they pulled back-to-back wins,
Yeah.
you know? And then you want to question if the coach is the right coach.
Yeah.
The racing guy took you guys from position 11 to position 2 to the CAF. If it didn't work out this season, he knows. I'm going back to that reference I repeat. He knows where it went wrong.
And some people are saying that probably that September factor, probably, because I think MacCarthy believed in the guy and obviously his talent.
Yeah.
And him leaving now, it left a vacuum there in terms of creating the play, in terms of how they play, because obviously it was that player who would be good.
Knowing Benni personally, he's one guy, he respects authority fine, but he needs that to be reciprocated. You know, much as he's going to respect the senior management, he expects them to respect him the same way. Because how it was handled, this matter, well, I wouldn't challenge any. Every organization has its own policy of management style. But from the other side of the world, we look at it and say, but was it done in a fairly manner? Because we're looking at a coach who's saying, we're at a crucial phase, and my team is built around this guy. In order for me to produce results, to give you guys results, I need this guy. And then you guys go and say, no, he's not going to play. Under what grounds? Forget contractual obligations and so forth. Under what grounds? I believe it's not fair for teams when a player signs a pre-contract elsewhere to say they want to shut him out. What about the years that he has given for this team? He played a very influential factor. This boy, he wants to grow. And if you're a father, you need to look at it in a sense to say, my child has grown, he wants to move out, he wants to explore and expand. I gave him the tools, I'm grateful for what he has done. And all I can do is, good luck. Go out there and grow. But Ustebe will be associated with Amazulu for the rest of his life. Everyone will always make reference to say Amazulu. That on its own, for you, it's good. So, going back to what you're saying, I believe that Benni, he knew that, okay, his team started being complacent after the results of last season. They started poorly this season. They didn't have a great season throughout. He knew that. He tried to rally the boys behind. He tried everything, right? And from management side, don't look at it in a sense of saying, we're paying this, we're doing this and that. Just look at it and say, if your child, he's failing at school, whereas he was doing well, what's the problem? What can I do to help? I don't think they gave him enough time. The gap. How is he now a bad coach overnight? How is Amazulu a bad team overnight? So we get to be, we get to look at measures where, how do I put it? We look at measures where we are results driven, but at the same time, because of those results, now we forget our standards. We were an upcoming team. We were nowhere near the success that we are at. And then suddenly we get to that point. Our issue should be saying, okay, we did this last season. We couldn't maintain it this season. How do we then replicate that and maintain? Now let's work on maintaining. Not chopping and changing. The same personnel. The same person who was able to put me there would know the answers. But okay, when I'm sitting with Benni now, I would say, where did we go wrong? What do you think we can do to improve and make sure that we maintain the standards? What are the resources that we're going to need from me to maintain that standard? So that's where I look at it to say that's how they failed him.
And we've been talking a lot about other people. Let's talk now about
Brighton
Brighton Mhlongo. Let's not talk about Brighton. We've just be talking about everything that's
Yeah.
happened. It's great
Yeah.
because I believe we needed that knowledge
Yeah.
just to know things more from a player's perspective, you know.
True.
But now 2011, Brighton Mhlongo started playing for now. We started now playing. You would mention earlier on about being starstruck. Instead of playing now with the big players, you mentioned of Manip Joseph. Were you ever you experienced this moment that we saw our national players experiencing that now I'm in the national team, like I'm the eat boy now.
Yeah.
I'm in, like I'm the eat boy. I'm in. I'm within. You know.
Yeah.
Did you ever experience that moment of now like getting starstruck? Exactly. Like now, just like it's like. Is this me now? Like not believing it. You understand?
I'd be lying if I said no.
Yeah.
I'd be lying. Honestly speaking, first day when I reported for training, Pirates, it's like, yo, the dressing room.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough, I had people around me. That's why I say, with South African football, or any team globally, it's important to have the right experienced players who are going to guide you guys, the young ones. I was fortunate enough, the team was filled with a whole lot of experience.
Yeah.
I was one of the young guys. And when I got there, already first thing it was a case of, this is how we do things, this is how you behave, and your stripes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're Pirates, but you haven't arrived. They always made examples with the Adidas. They say, you are still there, down there. Yeah, still on that little one, that stripe, still down there. You need to earn your stripes.
Yeah.
You need to climb and then ultimately be there.
Yeah.
You know? So I was lucky enough, and I feel like nowadays we don't have enough of that. We always filled with corridor talks as opposed to legit, straight talk. To say, yes, you're doing well at a young age.
Yeah.
You're playing, but you only know as far as you've traveled by age in terms of experience. You haven't done anything in this world. So at Pirates, there were guys who were like that. Tell you straight, boy, yeah, they'll tell you straight to type what's guys salala nje sifume nje sibambe wena back page nje nawe nje yeah, and it hits you.
Exactly.
These real talks, they'll tell you sure, they bring you down to to earth, to say you haven't done anything, you haven't achieved anything, and I love how when I got to Pirates, it was the guys who have won the first treble. And you know what they used to do? Time and again, we was being a crew, but as a treble up. Oh yeah. But we need one trophy up. Oh, how we need next up. And they say, we're no treble. You need to get more. We're now also in two. You need to get to treble. We're not how we need next year. We don't even have to tell you.
They'll discipline you somehow.
Yeah, and everybody think, we don't have to tell you. You haven't done fuck all.
Yeah.
As far as a just a parameter, so as a player and as a person, it already says to you, yo, I need to work hard to get to that. So time and again, you have that thing in your mind, because you haven't achieved anything. And then you strive to do what? To win a trophy. Now when you win a trophy, now you get to say, Baba, to the next one. Baba, you haven't done anything. Whereas you're still aspiring to get to that level. So those were the measures we put in place. I feel that they've disappeared. People get to a place, you haven't done anything. Yes, you're a great player from wherever, but they get to a place, you walk tall in a small town and feel like you've done so much. Nothing beats the fulfillment of winning silverware for the team. That's the best thing that you can do for the team. You stand proud to say, I did this and that. I did this and that. Not personal accolades. Personal accolades, they come for nothing. Because unfortunately we're playing a collective sport team. So if we're a team, I remember there was one time I got man of the match, but we lost the game. And the interviewer was like, but you did well. I said, I'd replace this for 3 points. Because I want to go back to the dressing room. When I get to the dressing room, this means nothing.
Yeah.
When I see my chips are
True.
down,
Yeah.
it means nothing.
Mm.
So we need to revert to the name in front, and then the name at the back of the chest will come after.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that sometimes this name at the back, you don't even have to push it or do anything when this one is doing well.
Yeah.
This will speak volumes
Exactly.
for you.
Yeah.
This on its own will say, hey, that Pirates player, this.
Yeah.
Already you're gone. You know, so we need to go back to those things to say, what are we here for? And what are we learning? What are we gonna gain? What legacy do you wanna leave behind? You know, I'm proud to say our generation, we kinda, you know, emulated the 95 team.
Yeah.
Yes, we came short twice, Champions League and the Confed.
Yeah.
But within that group, double treble,
Yeah.
we won all the titles, and we went to international level, and we did this and that as a group. And then now we can talk about personal accolades. Oh, this one got to do this within that group. This one got to do this. This one was the leading goal scorer at Tamsan Kabuza Kef. I got nominated as the best goalkeepers. You know, all those kind of things. All that. But you see now, I've already mentioned how many players.
Yeah.
A team.
It's you.
You get my point. So those are the things that we need to go back to. So yes, I was starstruck, but it kept me very grounded.
Yeah.
So those are the things that we need to put in place to say, the guys who have been there, who have seen it all, who are used to winning, who are used to being at the highest level, bring them more. Because when they get there, they'll be able to tame these guys without even saying anything.
Yeah.
If I see Andile Chal who has played in Europe, who has played in the Club World Cup, who has played in the World Cup, who has done this and that, behaving in a certain manner, now I'll be like, hi, let me behave like him. Let me act as if I'm not starstruck.
Yeah.
But when I got my, so Ushakes used to announce starting lineup night before.
Yeah.
My first cap. So we're playing World Cup qualifiers and whatnot, and then when I announced that I'm gonna start that game, okay, relax, right? Deep down inside,
Like,
when I got to my room,
exactly.
you know, when I
Yeah.
got to my room, I was like,
Yeah.
I remember roommate at that time was obviously Oupa,
Yeah.
so it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You know? So I get to my room, I'm jumping up and down,
Yeah.
waiting for him to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
First, I'm like, because with him, was used to it, he was
Yeah.
already in the center.
Yeah.
Jumping up and down, I'm starting tomorrow against
Definitely.
Bafana. You know, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And when he comes back, I'm just,
Relax.
you know?
Yeah.
So already, because there's standards, because there's people that you're associated with
Yeah. Yeah.
who already tasted success
Yeah.
and they know that path, they'll guide you. Even if they don't say anything, the manner, how they behave, the demeanor of the body language and everything, it's
Yeah.
just, you know, it'll rub off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it happened.
Let's move on, man. I wanted to talk about, we were talking about Amabeji, Oupa Manyisa.
Yeah.
Brings me to the core, man.
Yeah.
The MyfootballCV now. I
Yeah.
mean, the
Such a great
partnership,
initiative, man.
such a great initiative, and obviously the partnership with Oupa Manyisa. I know that Oupa Manyisa is shy. How did that partnership come about? But now
So-
that you've mentioned it to your roommates, I'm now thinking, oh,
So,
you know.
so Oupa and I have been friends since childhood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so played together at development stages and whatnot. When he played for PJ Stars, didn't want to play football. He was one of those guys, very talented, who was forced
Yeah.
to play football. Bamlande, Buba, coach, he was
Sure.
didn't care about that,
Yeah.
you know? So when I got to Pirates, he went to Africa Sport, Queen. He played there. And then we were in contact, you know, all of that, up until he signed for the first team. I went my other journey, and then when I came back to the first team, he was one of the guys who welcomed me. And then he was like, my boy, I'm happy you're here. You know, I started learning a whole lot of things. You know, young as he was, I was learning so much from him. I was always more Oupa each and every corner. I mean, I've been inside kick every time, you know. And then up until, you know, we got used to that thing of, it's no longer friends, no longer teammates, it's the brotherhood. We developed that. He's his family, he's everything, you know. To a point that till today, we kept that relationship. Even when we went our separate ways, it was a case of, how are they treating you there?
Yeah.
Are you okay? FIFA week, we need to meet. I'm gonna come visit you, always gonna come visit me, all those kind of things. And then MyfootballCV came about. Obviously, it was a thought prior to COVID. he wanted us to own an academy because we come from that kind of setup, and he felt like now South African football has diverted from that. We're struggling with regards to that. Then I said to him, look, I love that. And he was one guy who's very passionate about education, you know. I said, I love that idea. I love everything. However, right now, I'm one guy, I'm always about feeling, I'm always about the chemistry in the right moment. I pray about things, meditate about things, and when I get the sign to say, this is it, we do it, right? So I said to him, now is not the right time. God will give us, you know, the sign when we're ready. Right now, we're all over the place, we are busy, and such projects, they need, you know, people who are hands-on, you know, on a day-to-day basis. And then he understood that. Then every day kept on saying, "Fana, if we can do this," I said, "We'll do it, we'll do it." And then fast forward, post COVID, we'd go visit like tournaments, like go to your Phillies gates, this and that. We always see talent, abundance, like talent. And then I'll be like, who's this guy? Because I never got to play these tournaments, right? So I'll be like, who's this guy? For instance, Opereza, I didn't know Uti. Up until I played with him in Pirates. Like, oh, so when they say Opereza, this is the Perez. You know? And then all those things, you're like, but this guy. Then when you watch him, like, never mind official game, Jimmy, all these tricks and whatnot, and these things are just for Instagram, for likes. Then I'm thinking, where do these guys go after that? You know, there's no opportunities for them. Now it's worse. I mean, there's a huge gap between development and turning pro. You know, the exposure, the scouting, recruitment policies, you know, there's a huge gap. Then we said, no man, how about we create a platform where these guys, they'll be posting, but when they post, they're not posting for likes, but to enhance their careers. You know, we see LinkedIn, CEOs, the entire junior accountants, this and that. That's how people now in the business space operate. And people on Instagram, they get gigs, this and that. If you're a socialite, if you're all about lifestyle and everything. But for footballers, rare occurrence. How about we take that from Instagram and say, guys, here's your platform. You can post your content, and there'll be people who are watching mainly for career enhancement, mainly for scouting purposes, mainly to say, we've seen this good player. So with MyfootballCV, it's a space, it's a market where it doesn't discriminate with regards to age, gender, or race, or any nationality. And we are saying in MyfootballCV, everything that you've been doing out there, you've got the talent, show it. But now we've partnered with other teams, and we're still fighting for more endorsements to say, you guys now, we are saying to you, you don't have to run all over the place to scout a player or to go. We bring it to you digitally and as well as in a pragmatic manner, where now we're hosting on a monthly basis training camps. Because yes, you can load up your content, your stats, you played 10 games but you scored 50 goals, and then you're like, hey, okay. But you cannot lie to the naked eye. So when we bring you to camp, we're saying, show us what you've been trained here. Then Tina, we give you the exposure, the opportunity. So our camps, we're going to invite teams, inviting scouts, inviting coaches from all over the world, because we partnered with European teams as well. There'll be European interest, and there'll be tours as well. So these guys, they're sitting and saying, okay, here's MyfootballCV. According to the player criteria that we want, we need to look at so and so. So with MyfootballCV, you download it, you go to your Google App Store, you download MyfootballCV, and then you go through the same verification process and profiling with regards to registration, the names and everything. Then it gives you a question where it says, which role are you subscribing as a player, as a coach, or as an agent, you know? So from there, then that's when you get to choose your role. And then from that, you go to Upgrade Pro, and then Upgrade Pro, that's when now it makes you a paying subscriber, which gives you more opportunities. Status, WhatsApp status, it's 30 seconds, right? Even on Instagram, it's 30 seconds. if you're paying subscriber, which is like 17 rands per month, you get to upload content for 5 minutes and beyond. It gives you enough time to load more content and quality content. And then we are saying, as a player, you get to impress a coach and an agent. As a coach, you get to unearth a player and still impress an agent. As an agent, you get to win and get the best of both worlds. You get to unearth a coach and a player. So it's a market for everyone, basically for all of us, and just make sure that...
Just to understand, I had you mentioning camps. I want to understand, you update your content and everything, then you come to the camps before before coaches that have interest can, you know, get to negotiate with you or something within that.
Yeah, so how the camp works, every information gets sent to the MyfootballCV app.
Okay.
It has the news column and the events column.
Okay.
So there, if you're a subscriber, you get
Is
first-hand
there a
experience.
subscription fee?
Yeah.
It's only 17 rands.
Per month,
Yeah, per month. So all the news, trials from overseas and whatnot, they come to you guys through MyfootballCV.
Yeah.
So you can't come to our camp if you're not a subscriber.
Yeah.
So you subscribe, you get to come to camp. After the 17 rands, you don't get to pay anything. You get any opportunity, we pay for that.
Okay.
If it came through MyfootballCV, anywhere in the world, we're going to take you there from our own pockets. You get a contract offer. The only thing we can do upon your instruction, we have in-house advisors and lawyers. We can offer you that. But teams, they get to deal with you directly. So from the app, if they like you, there's an option whether you give them your phone number or email address. They get to deal with you. And then if you feel like it's an open door policy for us where you need advice or anything, we're here for you. We'll take you through the process. But we're not agents. We're just the facilitators within the market to say we want to help you navigate around and just bridge the gap between development and your way to turning professional. So we are here to offer you the tools, give you opportunities, the exposure, and just try by all means to push you until you realize your dream. But we're not agents. So we are there to say, football lovers, whether you're an aspiring coach, aspiring agent, aspiring player, get to MyfootballCV space and the rest will make things happen for you.
Yeah, and obviously I love the partnership that they have. I mean, partner with La Liga, you know, I think it's a great initiative. And obviously players, especially local players, they always complain, we always play tournaments, but there are no scouts. So that's an opportunity for them to upload their things and obviously hope and pray until you know something might happen.
Only paying something per month.
Exactly.
You understand?
And in wrapping up, there was a legal fee with regards to your former team, Marumo Gallants. How's that been? Have you been paid your money? Is it settled? How far is it?
No, not yet. Right now, it's in advanced stages whereby my attorney is dealing with their attorney. It's a legal matter now which the PSL has intervened. So we have a hearing coming soon. So once all is sorted, then rest be assured you'll be the first guys to know what's happening. But for now, I only get updates from my lawyer. I'm not even about all these things. I just move on with my life. And if they say I need to go appear, court, whatever, I do that. Okay, cool, done, that's it. But at this stage, I only know that it's with the PSL and the legal teams from both parties are dealing with that.
Yeah, I think that's how we come to the end of our conversation. Thank you so much, Brighton, for giving us your time. Most importantly, we appreciate that as the sports chat. And obviously, it's a growing channel. When we have guys like you, we naturally get inspired to say, you know, we can really, you know, push this thing, and we appreciate that.
And thank you very much for your knowledge. I think we got to learn a lot actually. Thank you very much for
I'm humbled, guys. I mean, for you guys, what I can say is that the journey is not going to be easy. Like I said at the beginning of the show, you're still going to be faced with so many challenges. People are going to ask you, why should I go to TheSportsChat when I can go to Robert Mhlongo? It doesn't matter. Run your own race. Always aspire to inspire, but at the same time, learn to empower in everything that you do. So, having said that, all I can say to you guys is good luck, and we are rooting for you. I'm more about empowering. I'm more about, you know, giving us young Black Africans a chance. You know, and well, I don't like saying black or I'm not about the
young
race thing, you know.
individuals, yeah.
Just when you work hard,
Yeah.
you'll be rewarded. I always say work extraordinary hard so that you can feel the exhilaration of victory at the end.
Yeah.
So, and you guys, I believe you're going to be one of the best.
Yeah.
It's only the beginning. This first step, the fact that you guys took this initiative to say, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Out there's talkers and there's doers, you know. So you guys are talkers and doers at the same time,
Yeah.
which is very much impossible. I mean, which is very much hard sometimes to do that, you know. And I'm really proud. I sit here to say, one day, I want to see you guys up there. California, that location. California location. I'm definitely flying in to say, dude, you were Trevor Noah there, you want to do something, I'm like, send that location, I'll fly down. But thank you so much guys for this platform. And I learned a lot as well. I'm inspired by you guys. You know, sometimes when you take these journeys, we take it for life. You think you guys were learning from me, but today it was very educational for me as well to say, okay, here's a young team that's trying to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and with the patience and whatnot. Do not fear anything, guys. All you need to do, profile your guests accordingly and adequately to what you wanna get in the content. And if you feel like you're gonna struggle with this and that, don't feel bad about it. It happens. That's why you guys kept on saying, Zeri, thank you for your patience and whatnot. I already had my calendar to say I'm coming to you guys. And if I agree to that, I need to play by your rules. This is your turf. It's like when we play an away game. You're not going to let a visitor dictate terms. You understand? Irrespective of the dynamics and the flaws that you might have. All you got to do is say, sorry, good. We're still working on it. Okay, these guys are confident about what they're doing, you know? So, but just, I mean, to wrap it up, you guys keep the confidence, and I wish nothing but the best, and I know God will bless you more, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And that's it.
Shoo.